Present tonight, I have Councilman Podeska, Councilman Wilden, Councilman Porter, and Councilman Karn. We do have a quorum. I've asked Councilman Wilden to lead us in our invocation and Councilman Porter to lead us in our pledge.
We good to go?
Yep.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful this day, and we're grateful for the opportunity we have to meet as a city this evening. And we're grateful for all those who serve and protect our community. And we ask Thee to bless us at this time, that we'll be able to make good choices for the residents of our city and all those who travel through our city and are employed in our city as well. And we ask Thee to bless all those who reside within our boundaries. And these things we say in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have presentation.
Mayor, Council, it's good to be with you again so soon. We're proud to present to you an officer that's being promoted this evening. I'd like to ask Officer Jason Blake to come join me at the podium for just a minute. He's joined this evening by his wife Ashley and their two children Remy and Maisie, and a host of other fans. Anyway, Jason Blake is a 7-year veteran of the police department, served previously with another agency for a little while, has recently gone through the process of the corporal examination, which I believe you're familiar with, as is the management team, but maybe some of our residents and other visitors here may not be completely familiar with. I'll just say that it includes a written test, an oral interview board, a peer evaluation board, a resume grading board, points based on seniority, and a chief's evaluation. So it's a very involved process, but we had currently one vacancy, and Jason came out number one in that process. So we're proud to be able to present him here tonight and award him his certificate of promotion. And I'll just I'll read this certificate, and then we'll do the badge exchange. Saratoga Springs Police Department, Certificate of Promotion to Corporal. The Chief of Police of the Saratoga Springs Police Department has reposed special trust and confidence in the loyalty, valor, fidelity, and abilities of Jason Blake. In view of these abilities, qualities, and his demonstrated potential for increased responsibility, is promoted to the rank of corporal effective May 15th, 2022. Given under my hand the 15th day of May 2022 in the city of Saratoga Springs, signed Andy Burton, Chief of Police. And I believe you're familiar with what the certificate looks like, but we'll show it. So that we present to you, Officer Blake. Oh, sorry, Corporal Blake. And now Corporal Blake's son, Remy, is going to come up and do the badge exchange. Oh, do you need a badge? Ah. All right, very good. Well done, Remy. Congratulations. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
We'll go outside and take some pictures. Take half the audience, more than half.
Okay, public input. Time has been set aside for the public to express ideas, concerns, and comments for subject matter not listed on this agenda. If you're here for the public hearings, item 1 or 2, please hold your comments for the public hearings. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Please avoid repetitive comments, and please be respectful in your comments. Anybody here for public input at this time? Okay. Seeing none, I will close the public input. Reports. Any reports from the council? Okay. Mark?
Mayor and Council, thank you very much. We do have a brief need to go into closed session at the end of the meeting tonight. Owen, did you have anything for the Mayor and Council? I believe that's all we have for this evening, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And Mark, Owen, we had talked about updates on items from the council. They'll start coming back June. Okay, perfect. Okay, public hearings. Fiscal year 2022-2023 final budget, pay plan, and no tax increase, Resolution R 22-27, or ordinance.
Evening, Mayor and Council. For the final budget, we've been working with council and with different department heads for the last few months on this. There are no changes from the tentative budget, so I guess does council have any questions for staff at this time?
Okay, we'll open the public hearing. Anybody here for the public hearing of the fiscal year 2022-2023 final budget? Please be respectful in your comments. Please limit comments to 3 minutes, and please avoid repetitive comments. Okay, seeing none, I will close the public hearing for the final budget. And there's a request to take no action tonight from the council, so I just need a motion to postpone it to the next meeting.
Is it on? Yep. Oh, I'll move that we postpone public hearing item 1 to the next meeting.
I have a first from Councilman Wilden.
We don't want to postpone the public hearing though, right?
No, we're just
The item.
The approval of the item.
the approval of it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll re-motion that we postpone the approval of item number 1 under the public hearing session.
A second.
Okay, I have a first from Councilman Wilden, a second from Councilman Carn. Any further discussion? Porter, sorry. Okay. Podeska? Aye. Carn?
Aye.
Porter?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We have the fiscal year 2021-2022 budget amendments, Resolution R 22-28.
Okay, this is budget amendment number 7 for the fiscal year. There's 2 major items of note. When we started this fiscal year, we kind of had a placeholder number in for the garbage fund for operating expenses because we're waiting for the update on garbage fees. And so now that we're at the close of the year, we're updating those numbers to reflect what actuals actually are. And the other number is an increase in the elections expense account as well, along with a couple of miscellaneous items. Any other questions from council at this time?
I just have one quick one. Yep. As far as the election, did we get any response back on why that's increased? Because it almost doubled, right, from last time?
I'm not familiar with that. That'd be more Cindy, I think, but.
Pardon? Oh, thank you very much. Election costs,
Why it increased
The
this
budget
year?
item doubled.
right. I apologize. I don't have a good answer for you. If you want, go ahead and table it.
I'm
I
fine.
do know that if it doesn't spend, if we don't need it, we won't be using it. But again, I apologize. I'm drawing a blank on why that went up this year.
Do we know, does the county have any plan to go back to voting machines? Have you heard anything?
I haven't heard anything. I know that they're pretty hip on ranked choice vote in some parts of the world, but I'm not aware of them going back to the voting machines.
Okay.
Yeah, I just, my point is just along those lines is that, you know, the county sold us vote by mail and as a cost-saving measure, and this ranked choice voting is a cost-saving measure, and yet I just see the cost going up, so I'm
And now they're
skeptical of,
doubling our number.
right, I'm skeptical of whether or not they're achieving their intended goal.
Okay. This is a public hearing. We will open the public hearing for the fiscal year 2021-2022 budget amendments. Please be respectful in your comments. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Please avoid repetitive comments. Is anybody here for this public hearing item? Okay. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and entertain a motion from the council.
Move to approve public hearing item 2, fiscal year 21-22 budget amendment, resolution R22-28, dated today, with any staff findings? None.
Okay, I have a first from Councilman Carn,
I'll second.
second from Councilman Podeska. Any further discussion on the motion? Podeska?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
Porter?
Aye.
Carn?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We'll entertain a motion on the consent item.
I move that we approve all items on the consent calendar with any
Second.
staff findings and conditions.
Sorry. Second.
I have a first from Councilman Porter, second from Councilman Carn. Any further discussion? Carn?
Aye.
Porter?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
Podeska?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Business item 1, the Saratoga Dignity Care preliminary plat.
Mayor and council. Is that on? There we go.
Should be.
Okay, if I can get my. I don't know if this, David, you might have to move them forward. I don't know why this isn't working. It's on. Okay, sorry. This is, if you remember back to 2018, I believe it was, the Saratoga Dignity Care Development Agreement was approved, and we are now getting to, 4 years later, we are getting to the development of that community. This is a senior care community. This sits at Foothill Boulevard and 1400 North, and includes a multifamily parcel or parcels, as well as 2 single-family residential lots. It also includes a subdivision, single-family subdivision that includes 14 lots and an assisted living center. So the preliminary plat, I've got it now. Thanks. So the preliminary plat, this is a preliminary plat approval for the Saratoga Dignity Care neighborhood development or preliminary plat, as well as the preliminary plat for the single-family subdivision. Now, the single-family subdivision is not a 55 and older community. However, the Dignity Care neighborhood is, and they are 73 units or 74 units, I believe, is of 4plexes with the assisted living center. So with that, I mean, I included a lot in your packet to show you because of the development. It's a footprint development. So the site plan was approved by the Planning Commission, and they have recommended approval for the preliminary plat for both the preliminary plat for both the single-family neighborhood and the senior development. These are the different, so initially, and I apologize, I thought I pulled these slides out. Initially, they had submitted a phasing plan, but that phasing plan was just for them internally. What they have done is they will actually be doing all of the Dignity Care neighborhood, as you see here with the landscaping plans and the amenities that they're going to be providing for that neighborhood, as well as the single-family neighborhood. They will be developing those simultaneously. They're not going to be phasing that out. What they're phasing out is the building of those fourplex units. And so all of the infrastructure, the private roads off of 1400, the assisted living center will get built at the same time as soon as the final plat is approved. So with that, I did include the elevations for this because this has been an ongoing project and one that I know that you have wanted to probably hear an update on, as it's taken some while because of the UDOT property. There was some frontage that they had to acquire, and so it's taken some time for them to do that. But I wanted to show you the elevations on this. Usually this is presented during the site plan, but it just gives you an idea of what these units are going to look like. So they have two different options. They have a 2-bedroom option as well as a 3-bedroom option for these units. And then the assisted living center is the elevations for the assisted living center is here as well. So with that, Planning Commission recommended approval for both preliminary plats, the single-family neighborhood or single-family subdivision, as well as the Dignity Care senior neighborhood. If you have any questions, I'm able to answer those, and the applicant is here as well.
Any questions from the council? Councilman Wilden?
Just to confirm, I mean, I think the packet was well done. It appears there was a lot of back and forth where we had to see repeat comments
Yes.
multiple times. If you could confirm, are you comfortable at this point, given it looks like a significant amount of feedback
Yeah.
that they're going to comply with it?
Let me go back and explain that, because that's one of the why this has taken so long, is because this plan, at least the front part, which is the assisted living center lot, and the storm drain on the east side was actually flipped. And so they actually spent a lot of time having to redesign their assisted living center because the storm drain just didn't mesh on that east side where they had initially set it towards the north on the original plan that they submitted. And so that's, to answer your question, there is a lot of back and forth on repeat comments because the plan had to be switched. And so we actually had to do whole nother review on it because of that, as well as the 2 single-family lots at the top. As you know, Mountain View Corridor is going to be going through there. Foothill Boulevard will be eliminated with that design. And so they had to provide an access road into those 2 lots, or an access driveway for those 2 lots. So I believe those property owners are here tonight. Of those two parcels, but they also are not included in the 55 and older community. So the only section is this. I apologize. I thought I had those removed. Is this shape here that is the 55 and older with the fourplexes and the assisted living. So to answer your question, Councilmember Wilden, in the long answer is that they had to do a lot of switching, as well as UDOT. I apologize. As well as UDOT, the negotiations with UDOT took probably the majority of the time to get that.
I appreciate you working with them. I do think, honestly, this is needed in the community. Outside of a city council setting with residents and stuff, there's been a lot of interest in this type of facility. So unfortunately, it took 4 years, but I don't think it'll be hard to fill up.
No. And one thing that they did mention, and I want to bring this up because I think it's an important aspect of the assisted living center that they did bring up during the Planning Commission meeting, is that it's going to have a memory care center for Alzheimer's and memory care. It's one of the few facilities in the state that have that capability. And so it's something that will provide a great benefit to the community.
that's great.
Perfect. Councilman Carn?
Yeah, so I'm going to go back to my planning commission days because I was on the planning commission when this came through last time. And this is just to refresh my memory. This community is all curbless, is that correct?
I believe so.
How many beds will be in the assisted living center? How big is that facility?
Did I not put that in the staff report?
Well, if you
I
did, I
thought I
didn't see
did.
it.
Maybe it probably is.
You want to come up?
This is Mark Hampton. He is one of the applicants of this. He can answer that question.
Okay.
Right here. You can have this right here.
here, okay. 74, like we had approved,
So 74 in the
assisted
assisted
living.
living facility. And if I'm then going back, if I remember right, the concept was that people could move in there if they needed to and then go back to their residence, right?
Sure, yeah, it's part of the community. That lot is one of the lots, the lot that the living is on is one of the lots in the community, the HOA.
Okay. And everything in that phase one, that's the 55 and older, wasn't that gated at one point?
We would like it gated. It's private roads. I think there's a question on whether gates restrict the emergency vehicles or not. So we haven't shown any gates at this point. We certainly don't want,
I think it was discussed 4 years ago.
yeah.
That's why I'm thinking about that. And then phase one, the single family residence, that's a public road.
Correct.
Yes, that's right.
So the private road goes to Cozy Lane, and that cul-de-sac is Cozy Lane. So there shouldn't be any through traffic because that is their secondary egress because it's required that they have more than 30 units.
Yep.
And so they had to provide that. That's why they're building it all in one phase because they have to have that secondary egress. As far as the crash gate or the gate, they can have that. They did not present that in their application.
We will,
That is possible. They would have to work with
we'll
fire. and-
apply later for that, but we would like to gate on the north end just to keep public from traveling through our community. And you're right, we painstakingly try to eliminate steps in our community. So we do have a curb and gutter on one side. If you recall, on our tour we did years ago, curb and gutter to collect the storm water on one side. The other side, the asphalt goes right to the sidewalk. And that way we avoid as many steps as possible. Our units don't have any steps from the garage in the unit, from the front porch into, no.
Do you have other facilities in American Fork?
No, we have one in Salt Lake and one in Mapleton.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is much needed.
Councilman Porter?
Just, I know you've talked about it all being an HOA and stuff. Are you deed restricting these?
They're deed restricted age restriction, yes.
Okay.
55 or above.
All right. That's just something we
Now,
like to
remember-
ask with these, especially because of the form factor.
Yeah, remember, it's occupancy age restricted. We have some in our other campuses where family members that are much younger, but whoever occupies has to be 55 or
Okay.
above.
That sounds excellent.
Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move that we approve business item 1 as stated on the agenda, including staff findings and conditions.
Okay, I have a first from Councilman Wilden,
Second.
second from Councilman Porter. Any further discussion on the motion? Podeska?
Aye.
Porter?
All right.
Wilden?
Aye.
Carn?
All right.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank
So
you.
question for the developer, are you moving forward right away then?
Yes, the biggest question that we have and our lender has is how fast can we sign this plat?
Okay.
We need to get this recorded so we can get the loan and get started, yeah. I gotta compliment staff. This is off, I mean, guess we're done with the vote, so please forgive me, but it was a lot of, she called it negotiation. I lost a lot of hair when I was dealing with UDOT. We actually had approval and put in, when the sewer went in, we put a manhole and our stub where UDOT allowed us to have access. We spent hundreds of thousands designing our project
the way it was before, and then they came back and said, no, you can't have it. So, and we fought it, and then we finally gave in, and here we are. So thank you for your patience, staff, and city.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, business item 2, Northshore.
Thank you very much, Mayor and Council. So the applicant is requesting approval of a 3-lot commercial preliminary plat of 22.23 acres that is located just off of Pioneer Crossing and Saratoga Road. The office warehouse zone was approved for this in September of 2021, and staff has found that the preliminary plat is consistent with recent changes to the office warehouse zone. This is a split approval, with the site plan having been tentatively approved by the Planning Commission, contingent upon preliminary plat approval by the City Council and final plat approval by staff. I've included the site plan, which was, like I said, tentatively approved by the Planning Commission, and that was shown when the rezone was presented. Landscaping meets all city code requirements, and I've included building elevations, which were minorly adjusted with a code change to allow glazing, a smaller percentage of glazing, which is glass on the building. The Planning Commission's recommendation was a positive recommendation for approval for this project. So staff can answer any questions.
Any comments, Councilman Porter?
You said that it was approved under office warehouse. I realized that they're kind of grandfathered in under the old zone. And you said that they the staff has reviewed it and found it consistent with some of the changes that have been made to that zone. I mean, obviously the sizing is not consistent because it's bigger than what we would allow in the heavy commercial zone.
Right.
Like, I guess, what are the changes that it is consistent with, I guess, is what I'm trying to understand.
Primarily the one that I pointed out with the glazing.
The glazing, okay. I mean, looking through, they comply with the code which they came in under. You know, a comment was made that this is kind of proof of why we needed to make changes to the zone, so.
Yeah, any other comments? Karn, you?
No,
Oh, well, thanks. Well, you pushed the button.
I'm sorry. Then I'll make a motion. Is that okay?
Oh, well, I have a comment.
Okay.
See, this is what happens when the mayor leaves. I will agree with Councilman Porter, and I just thank you to staff to bringing some of the deficiencies we had in our code previously. You know, it complies, and my motion will be because not my motion, but my vote will be because it complies, but the back end of it, looking at the elevation, exactly what we don't want to see in the city. So, any other comments?
No.
Someone want to make a motion?
I move to approve business item 2, Northshore Commerce Preliminary Plat. Elizabeth Cole applicant, 653 North Saratoga Road, with any staff findings and conditions presented in the packet.
All second. Oh,
Just a sec. So we had a first from Councilman Karn, a second from Councilman Podeska. Jeremy?
There was, staff had realized the engineering staff report was missing from the packet originally. Cindy did add it to your Dropbox. I just want to make sure, I don't know if that requires a motion, or I want to make sure that.
So I'll amend my
No
motion then with
ambiguity to the
the engineering
engineering.
report provided after the packet.
In the findings and conditions, yeah.
Any findings and conditions in that engineering report.
and I'll second.
So we have amended first and second. Any other comments? Councilman Karn?
Aye.
Porter?
Aye.
Podeska?
Aye.
Wilden? Aye. Passes 4-0. I feel weird saying that. Business item number 3. Transportation Master Plan update.
Probably Jeremy.
Yeah. Mayor and council, we have a proposed update to the city's transportation master plan. This is an element of the general plan, therefore it was brought through as required by state code with a public hearing at Planning Commission. There are the areas, just to give you a quick summary, the most areas that had the changes were the church property between Grandview and Pony. This is in conjunction with some updates they initiated, the SLR, PRI initiated on their property. We feel it's a much better layout, much more connectivity. The old layout had a lot of dead end or T collector roads. This has a lot more connectivity going through. There was also some modifications made east of the Jordan River where there was an intersection. There was 2 intersections we showed, new intersections between 2300 West / Saratoga Road and the river. But talking with UDOT, that would not have been approved based on their spacing, so we removed one of them. So that is the main changes that were made. Happy to answer any questions. The other thing actually is I would gonna request that we table this. We did identify a few more little massages that we'd like to make to this plan, and as opposed to having to go back through the process again, it probably would be best just to bring back to this at the next meeting with those changes made, so we don't have to go through the process all over again in a month or two. A couple of things that were pointed out going through the Planning Commission and city process, just some minor things like showing Northshore Drive as a local collector where it's not identified currently, making sure that the frontage road on Mountain View Corridor in front of Sunrise Meadows actually lines up. So right now it shows both frontage roads off the existing road, and we want to just make sure it's clear that our expectation is the existing road will be that one frontage road. So little things like that don't change the substance of it, but maybe better just to table it. There's no urgency, so but this is still a good chance for you guys to ask me any questions and any things that you may have. All right, we did put a draft version of this also in the GIS city map. If you want to look at it there, sometimes it's a little easier there than a PDF, so.
Okay. Councilman Porter?
I had my questions and concerns answered this morning in meetings with staff regarding the area in and around Thunder Ridge Boulevard, or Thunder Ridge Elementary and Talus Ridge Boulevard and those connections and stuff. So, but unless other people have questions, I'll motion.
Councilman Carn, did you have a?
Nope.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we continue item number 3 until a future meeting when staff brings it back.
Okay, I have a first from Councilman Porter.
Second.
Second from Councilman Carn. Any further discussion? Wilden?
Aye.
Podeska?
Aye.
Carn?
Aye.
Porter?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Business item 4, Code Amendments, Title 19.
Sure. Hey, Mayor and Council, at long last, we bring to you the requested updates to the city's drive approach, various sections that have to do with drive approaches, driveways, curb cuts. This ended up being a lot more work than we anticipated. Kind of went down a rabbit hole and realized there was a lot of related things that needed to be addressed, things that were not previously discussed. You know, circular driveways, multiple access points on one, frontage, widths. And we believe as staff that this really gives a lot more flexibility to our residents while still maintaining a balance between aesthetics and functionality. As we discussed at Planning Commission, you know, roads are not just for cars, they're for pedestrians, utilities. And so we really have to balance all those uses in a way that makes sense. But we understood your direction that residents probably could be given more options while not conflicting with the other needs that we have. And we think we've struck a nice balance of that. So we do have some rules that still say, you know, you need room for utility boxes. You need to consider pedestrians, but I think this allows residents now to go up to 45 feet. So before it was 30 feet. And it does things like make it clear that circular driveways are allowed, right? Before it was really silent on that. So We apologize it took so long, but we think this is a drastic improvement in the code and gives residents, I think, a lot more freedom while striking a good balance.
Okay. Comments from Councilman Wilden?
After hearing how much work it is, I'll have to inform you I changed my mind. No, I appreciate it. Great work, and I think this will be good for the residents and provide clarity for them.
Councilman Carn?
I just have a question. In here, I gotta find the reference. I think it said that the maximum number of units that can share a driveway is 6. Do we have that somewhere? And where did that number come from?
We do.
Is that happening in Wander today?
Okay. It's in Wander. So they're cluster homes.
Right.
Of and that's actually changed in it's going to change in their Village 3. They have their minimum the maximum was 6 homes on a shared driveway. That has gone up to 8. So they're in Village 3, sorry. Thank goodness there's not 6. But Village 3, there is 8 on the shared driveway.
So their village plan will supersede this?
Yes, it will.
Okay.
We tried to find a happy medium when we were going through this ordinance to provide just enough, but not too much allowance on that. We don't want to have so many homes on a shared driveway.
It feels like a lot.
They're dealing with issues with their cluster home driveways as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only going to make it worse if we continue to allow additional units on a shared driveway.
Okay.
Councilman Porter?
I was just ready for when somebody needed one.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'm fine. In spite of me wanting to not approve it just because Jeremy put so much time into it. I'm joking. I move that we approve business item 4 as stated on the agenda, including any staff findings and conditions.
I have a first from Councilman Wilden.
I'll second.
I have a second from Councilman Podeska. Any further discussion? Carn?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
Porter?
Aye.
Podeska?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We do have closed session, but we'll do our
Do we do our CDR first?
CDRA meeting first, yes.
Okay.
So we'll postpone city council for just a minute, and we will move into our Community Development Renewal Agency meeting for Tuesday, May 17th, 2022 at 6:38 p.m. Present tonight, I have Board Member Podeska, Board Member Wilden, Board Member Porter, Board Member Carn, so we do have a quorum. Public hearing is our item tonight for the resolution approving the fiscal year 2023 CDRA final budget.
Mayor and council, I'll take that. If you recall, we entered into
Board members.
board members. Yes. Honorable chair and board members. If you recall, we entered
Vice
into.
Chair, please.
And vice chair, not so honorable vice chair. We have entered into an agreement within the CRDA for reimbursements for performance-based contract, if you recall. The amendment of the budget is to make sure that we have adequate funding for that. We believe there will be access to what we're going to be reimbursing per that agreement. But again, that amount will just stay in there and roll over to next year and be part of that. So we do recommend this. The performance-based contract that we have is going quite well, and we're excited to continue that going forward.
Okay. This is a public hearing. We'll open it up for the public input at this time. If you're here for public hearing portion for resolution approving the fiscal year 2023 CDRA final budget, please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Please avoid repetitive comments, and please be respectful in your comments. Is anybody here for this item? No comments online? Okay, I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Chair, I move to approve public hearing 1, resolution approving FY 2023 CDRA final budget, CDRA R22-1 dated today, and with any staff findings and conditions if there are any.
I will second Board Member Carn's motion.
Okay, I have a first from Board Member Carn, second from Board Member Porter. Any further discussion on the motion? Podeska?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
Porter?
Aye.
Carn?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. I'll entertain a motion for the minutes of May 18th, 2021.
Move to approve the minutes.
I have a first from Board Member Porter,
A second.
from Board Member Podeska. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Community Development and Renewal Agency meeting adjourned. Back into City Council meeting. We do have need for closed session. I will entertain a motion for, I have a first from Councilman Carn,
Second.
second from Councilman Podeska. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
There we go. So when I turn my head.
Okay, I'm just the weird one, always turning my head.
But you kind of turn your head like this.